My daughter said I'm the reason her dad left, so I stopped paying for her private school. I was at the kitchen table going through bills when my 15-year-old walked in wearing an outfit I'd never seen before. Designer jeans, expensive sneakers, the kind of stuff I told her we couldn't afford right now. Where'd you get that? I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. She rolled her eyes like I'd asked the dumbest question in the world. Dad sent it. He actually cares about what I want. I looked at the designer label on the jeans. Her father, who was 6 months behind on child support, had somehow found money to send her $300 jeans. That's nice of him, I said calmly, turning back to my laptop. Yeah, well, at least one parent knows how to treat me right. I stopped typing, closed my laptop slowly. What's that supposed to mean? She crossed her arms and leaned against the doorframe. You're always working. You never have time for me. Dad said you pushed him away with your obsession with money. That's why he left. I felt something crack inside my chest. For 8 years, I'd worked 50-hour weeks to keep her in that private school. Her father contributed nothing. Not tuition, not health insurance, not even birthday gifts unless you counted random expensive clothes that showed up twice a year to make him look good. Your dad told you that? I asked quietly. Yeah, he said you cared more about your career than our family. That's why he couldn't stay. I nodded slowly, my jaw tight. Okay, I didn't say anything else. Just opened my laptop back up and stared at the screen until she left the room. The next morning, I called St. Catherine's Academy and withdrew her enrollment. The registrar tried to talk me into at least finishing the semester. I said no, effective immediately. Then I called Harrison High, our district public school, and enrolled her. She could start Monday. When she got home from her friend's house that afternoon, I was in her room packing up her St. Catherine's uniform. The blazer, the plaid skirt, the white polo shirts, all of it going into a box. What are you doing? Her voice went shrill with panic. You're switching schools. Harrison High starts Monday. You can't do that. All my friends are at St. Catherine's. I folded another shirt and placed it in the box. Tuition is $24,000 a year. Since I'm apparently obsessed with money and that's why your dad left, I figured I should stop wasting it. Her face went completely white. Mom, I didn't mean. Call your dad, ask him to pay for it. He can afford designer jeans, right? I'm sure $24,000 won't be a problem. She stood there frozen for a moment, then grabbed her phone with shaking hands. She FaceTimed him right there in front of me. He answered from what looked like a bar, music and voices loud in the background. She was crying, words tumbling out, explaining what happened, begging him to help. I watched his expression change from confused to annoyed. Babe, I can't drop $24,000 right now. Your mom makes good money. She's just being petty. But you said she's obsessed with money. You said that's why you left. There was a long pause. I could see him looking off screen, probably at whoever he was with. I didn't mean it like that. Look, I gotta go. We'll talk later, okay? He hung up. Just like that. She tried calling back 4 times. Every single one went straight to voicemail. She looked at me with tears streaming down her face, mascara running. Please, I'll apologize. I'll do anything. You told me I'm the reason he left, that I care more about money than family. So now your dad can prove he cares more than I do. All he has to do is write a check. She spent the entire weekend texting him. No response. Not one. Monday morning, I drove her to Harrison High for orientation. She cried the whole way there, begging me to reconsider. I stayed silent. That evening, her father finally called. Not her, me. You're really going to punish our daughter because she hurt your feelings? His voice was sharp, accusatory. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm giving you the chance to parent. Isn't that what you wanted? You know I can't afford private school, but you can afford to trash talk me to our daughter? Tell her I destroyed our marriage because of my career? The career that pays for her entire life because you won't? Silence on the other end. 1 month, I said. You have 30 days to pay her tuition. I'll re-enroll her the day the check clears. I hung up. He never called back. Not her, not me. 3 weeks later, my daughter came home from Harrison and sat down at the kitchen table where I was working. My English teacher says I'm head of the class. She wants me to join debate team. I looked up from my laptop. That sounds great, honey. She picked at her fingernail, not meeting my eyes. I'm sorry for what I said about you and dad. I know. He's not going to pay, is he? I closed my computer and looked at her directly. No, honey, he's not. She nodded, tears building in her eyes again, but different this time. Understanding instead of anger. 4 months passed. She made varsity debate as a sophomore, something that almost never happened at Harrison. She stopped mentioning St. Catherine's, stopped asking about her dad. Then one afternoon, she came home holding an envelope. Inside was a check from her father for $25 and a note that said, "Congrats on debate." She stared at it for a long moment, her face unreadable. Then she looked up at me with clarity I'd never seen before. Mom, he had 6 months to send $24,000 for my education and couldn't do it, but he can send $25 now that it doesn't matter anymore. She ripped up the check right there at our kitchen table.